gonna dive into the frequently asked questions with the all-new Prestige DTF printer. So I do wanna start with the software. We have been testing extensively with the exclusive version of CAD-Link. So it's a little more commonly known software, very popular with a variety of different printing equipment and machineries, but CAD-Link is something that we're working on to try and bring to everybody, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. I do want to talk about the maintenance. Now, on a daily basis, we don't have to shake the whites like we would with, say, a normal direct-to-garment printer, thanks to the built-in white ink agitation. It's one of the features that we really wanted to make sure that we had available on our direct-to-film printer, and that keeps everything flowing nice and smooth. But on a daily basis, you're always going to want to start off with a nozzle check. This is going to show us the current health of the nozzles, see if there are any blocks or if anything does need attention. And if it's bad, we actually release a troubleshooting video. What you're gonna wanna do with the included plastic syringe, we're gonna actually draw ink. We advise approximately 5 cc's. After we draw the ink from the rear of the machine, we are gonna perform a head cleaning. So that's a good rule of thumb. Basically, anytime that we are pulling ink from the nozzle, or excuse me, with the syringe, you do wanna perform that head cleaning after. It is advised additionally on a weekly basis or as needed to pull the ink as well as run that head cleaning afterwards. That's again gonna keep everything operating nice and smooth, and that should be done on a weekly basis. And then the wiper blade. Warranty protection is definitely something you wanna keep in mind. You wanna make sure that your investment is protected, especially if this is gonna be something we're gonna be using to generate revenue for our business. So we're happy to report that the machine does come with a 1-year manufacturer's warranty, and the printhead itself is warranted up to 6 months. Now mind you, this is contingent on using the authorized and approved ink supply system with the machine. Third-party inks could lead to premature wear of the printhead, of the internals, so definitely please make sure your warranty is intact. Make sure you're using the right ink on here. Let's talk about printer resolution. There's gonna be multiple options in the software that you can choose from. We're all gonna recommend the 1440 DPI. It's not gonna be the slowest or the fastest, it's kind of right in the middle, but I feel with that amount of quality, you're gonna be at a good operating speed, you're gonna have good, rich, opaque prints, no dye migration. How fast is this machine? Now, with the recommended resolution settings, which we would advise at about 1440 DPI, on a, say, an A3 size, I would ballpark that at around 7 minutes. Higher resolution speeds, larger prints, larger ink percentage coverage on the film can result in longer processing time, so definitely something to keep in mind. But I would say again, on an A3 size, approximately 7 minutes, again, that's gonna be at the recommended 1440 DPI. The ink system itself. Now, this is gonna be a bulk ink system of sorts. It's like what we used to call a continuous ink supply system, or CISS. Now, it's gonna have these about 220 milliliter convenient to load bottles on the side that can handle the assorted different varieties of the ink amount that you decide to purchase. And it's super easy, it's color coded, so it's very easy to make sure that the right ink bottle is getting filled with the right ink color. And one note about this, I wouldn't want to let these get too low just to prevent any kind of inconsistency in the ink flowing of the lines. So you do want to maintain an appropriate level of ink, and for safety I would say no less than 1/4 or 1/3 ideally. Keep that maintained so that everything's flowing nice and smooth. Colors. Now this is going to be a CMYK WW printer. There's going to be 2 channels of white to minimize any kind of waste, allow for that popular white ink circulation, and then also make sure that we have multiple channels. Well, with the recommended application temperature, which we're going to be advising between 310 to 320 Fahrenheit at between 15 to 20 seconds, and that's going to be dependent on the size of the transfer. So for example, something like this, I would go ahead and apply at the 15 seconds. Now if it's something a little bit larger, say the back graphic I have here, anything in that size or above, at least 20 seconds. And that's going to be again with, I'd say, about a medium firm pressure. We don't want to crush the heck out of the transfer, but we do want to make sure that we're doing good contact so that it makes strong adhesion to the fibers. Now, direct to film, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to say is always a cold peel. After we perform the cold peel, which doesn't mean throw it in the refrigerator, you just want to let that transfer, let the garment return back to normal room temperature, and then once we peel that, I always like to do a finishing press. This is going to be at the same temperature after we peel the film, but we're going to be pressing it for only 5 seconds. Now this is going to do a couple things. One, this is going to further seal the transfer into the material, and second, if we did leave any residual hot melting powder around the image that transferred as little dots, this gives you a great opportunity to cook that into the actual fabric. Now let's talk about fabric compatibility. This is probably one of the bigger benefits of the direct-to-film printing process. Cotton, easy peasy. Tri-blends, you know we can handle that. But what about the more trickier, sensitive materials? Things that may have percentages of rayon, high concentration of polyester. I mean, there's things that I would never be able to direct-to-garment print. Things like safety vests, windbreakers, they're meant to repel water. Pre-treat is a mostly water solution, and the direct-to-garment textile ink is typically a water-based solution as well. For materials or fabrics that are meant to stay dry, that can be an uphill battle at best. However, with the transfers created with the AA Prestige A3 Plus direct-to-film desktop printer, all of these different materials, including leather, rayon, wool, we've done rubber materials, all sorts of different packaging materials. I honestly have not come across one fabric that this will not adhere to. How long do the transfers last once you make them? So let's say you have your designs that you've printed out here, you've applied your hot melting powder, you've dried it to the wet print. You can sell these as a service. We've seen entire business models built solely on the distribution of direct-to-film printing transfer sales. I would say if you keep these in a controlled environment, meaning it's basically where you'd want your printer to be, again, this is away from extreme heat, away from extreme cold, away from dust, away from moisture. I would advise these possibly even say a manila folder, maybe a mailing tube for your larger transfers. But if they are kept in ideal conditions, I have full confidence these transfers should be able to last on standby, ready to apply 6 to 12 months. The physical size. So print spot wise, you are able to accommodate film cut sheets up to 13 by 19. But what about the actual physical footprint of the machine itself? How much space do we need in our work area to accommodate this safely, soundly, and conveniently? We are looking at about 31.5 inches wide, about 13 inches deep, and about 8.5 inches tall. All right, now moving along here. How heavy is this? Now this machine weighs in at just about 44 pounds, as you can see here. Okay, the shipping weight. Now, I don't know if any of you guys have already received your direct-to-film printer, the AA Prestige. It does come in a pretty heavy-duty crate. With the crating, we're looking at close to 70 pounds. Is this portable? Yes, absolutely. This is a very lightweight and compact design. Honestly, if you were to take this to say something like a sporting event, a music festival, a swap meet, any kind of outdoor traveling area, you can produce custom goods on the fly on all those different materials that we've already discussed. Electrical requirements. Now we talked about this for the portability portion. This is a low power consumption, energy efficient machine. We're looking at about US standard 110 volts. So this will pull the approximate power that you would get from a normal desktop printer. Someone asked earlier about the L1800, the machine, the Epson printer. Is this the same one seen online? You know, there's a lot of different variations of this. We've had customers at the trade show come over, what's this piece right here? Well, we've added and made sure that there's a white ink reservoir to make sure that there's something in place to keep that ink flowing nice and smooth. That white ink reservoir, people have noticed who've gotten imported machines, maybe rebranded L800s. That way, that's something in there that we wanted to make sure it was included from the manufacturer in addition to the white ink circulation. And then after purchase support. We have 3 branches nationwide. If you guys are on the West Coast, we'll have technical support at 5 in the morning because our Philadelphia branch opens at 8 a.m. That's gonna be Eastern Standard Time. Over here in California, we're open till 5 p.m. Pacific, which means 8 o'clock Eastern back on the other side of the country. So you have a very extended window of support. Now additionally, we utilize here at All American Print Supply an application called Slack. We have a channel exclusively for our AA Prestige direct-to-film printing customers. That way you have 7-day-a-week access to our technical support team. You can review other people's questions, issues they've run into, how it was resolved. Because chances are, if you have a question with this machine, someone else already had the same question or something similar, or you can review other concerns or questions and see how exactly that was resolved. If you haven't already, make sure you head over to the YouTube channel, AA Print Supply Co. on YouTube.com, hit the red subscribe button, tap the notification bell. As we do have new content, new walkthroughs, new support information, you'll always be the first to know. That way you never miss out on any of our awesome activities. We have a lot of variety on there, trade show coverage, all sorts of stuff. But it's gonna pretty much wrap it up for today. If you guys do have any further questions on the AA Prestige, we'd love to get in touch with you with the friendly, knowledgeable representative, answer any questions you may have. We got a contact link on the website, which is aaprintsupplyco.com. But that's pretty much gonna do it. Thank all of you so much for joining us today. My name is Estevan, we're All American Print Supply. And a round of applause for the AA Prestige. All right, guys, thank you so much. We'll see you on the next one.